Welcome students to our online video tutorial class. So I have decided today that I will be starting with the first chapter, that is the living world. So we all know in class 11 total 22 chapters are there. Out of that, this is the first chapter of the first unit, that is the living world. So let's see in this chapter whatever the portions we have to study. First we have to study the definition of living. Definition of the living means this is actually the process by which the various organisms are surviving in this world. So living means actually the process of survival in this world, that is called as living. Okay. Next point we can see here, there is a point, that is definition of life. What is the meaning of definition of life? Definition of life is actually the accumulation of various physiological processes which are helping any individual living organism to survive in this changing environmental condition or in this changing environment. So that is called as life. So life is none other than accumulation of various physiological processes including the metabolism by which the organisms can survive in this world. Okay. Next point you can see, there is a characteristics of living. Characteristics of living means the organisms who are living beings or living objects. Whatever the basic characteristic features should be present in them. First feature you can see in case of, they should have the cellular structure. Cellular structure means they should have the cell-like structure. There should be a plasma membrane. Inside that there should be a liquid matrix, that is cytoplasm, and centrally located or peripherally located nucleus. And nucleus and cytoplasm both will be called protoplasm, as well as within the cytoplasm various cell organelles will be present. That means in case of which organisms the cellular structure is present with proper protoplasmic configuration, those specific organisms will be considered as living. Okay. Going for the second point, growth and development. In this point we can understand, obviously living beings will be showing growth as well as development, these both aspects. There is a little bit difference in between this growth and development. Most of the time this growth and development, these two words we are using in same manner. But growth means actually increasing the size of any cell or size of any body or increasing the volume. That is commonly known as growth. And the development means updation or modulation of any specific structure or any specific system in a specific living organism. That is called as development. As an example I am giving, suppose after fertilization of the sperm and ovum, when the zygote is forming, from the zygote when the cell division starts, it will be creating what? First modula, then blastula, then gastrula, then embryo, and then fetus. So these specific each and every divisional phases, when the number of cells are increasing and each and every cell size is increasing, this is called the growth. But what is the development? Development means in after formation of the embryo, when various kinds of organs, various kinds of tissues, various kinds of physiological systems, when these are getting created in that specific organism and it is forming the full grown fetus, then that process is called as development. So entirely formation of a new system or modulation of system, that is development, but increasing the size, increasing the volume, increasing the cell number, that is none other than the growth. So specifically keep it in your mind that this growth, it can be found before our birth, that means when we were present in our mother's womb, on that time also both growth can be visible, and after birth also up to a certain age this growth can be found. In case of development specifically, most of the maximum developmental processes happening in our mother's womb, when we are present in our mother's womb. But after our birth, up to a certain age, up to 6 years of age or up to 10 years of age, this developmental process is running. After that the development is not happening, because all of the tissues, all of the organs, all are getting developed when any specific baby is taking birth. After that, those specific organ or those specific systems are increasing its size. That means that is the growth. Now third feature is that reproduction. Obviously this is the feature for any of the living organism, because if the reproduction process is not there, obviously that organism is not capable for producing the next generation offspring. So for that reason reproduction is very important feature by which any living organism can give birth of the next generation. We all know reproduction can be of two types. One is asexual mode of reproduction and the second one is sexual mode of reproduction. With that, also another mode of reproduction is there, that is the vegetative mode of reproduction, which is mostly found in plants, but sometimes we can see that this vegetative mode of reproduction is included within asexual mode of reproduction. So you can separate that vegetative mode of reproduction as well as you can also include within the asexual mode of reproduction. There is no problem. Next, consciousness. Consciousness is the most important feature in case of any living organism. Why? Because when you are giving any stimulus to any of the object, suppose that object is giving you the response, that proves that object is living. If that object is not giving any response to you, that means that object is non-living. Suppose you are you are slapping on a surface of a tree, that means on that time the tree will respond to you. No. That proves it is non-living. No. Plant is also living, but whatever the stimulus you are giving to the plant, you are slapping the plant, that is not the stimulus for the plant. So for that reason the plant is not giving response. But suppose sunlight, during the time of photosynthesis plant is absorbing, so that sunlight is obviously a stimulus for the plant, and as a response plant is performing photosynthesis, it is producing their food and it is growing its size. Okay, next, metabolism. Metabolism is another very important characteristic feature for any of the living organism. Why? Because if the metabolic process is not there, the growth, development, nothing can be possible, and it's not possible to survive also by the living organisms. So metabolism is none other than the process of digesting the obtained food, and from there the nourishment which is obtained, that is absorbed, and that causes the growth, that causes the development of that living organism. So that is called as metabolism. Metabolism is none other than the digestion of the food, and from there obtaining nutrition or nourishment, and by utilizing that, proper growth and development of the organism. Here we can see metabolism can be of two types, catabolism and anabolism. What is the meaning of these two? Cata means, always keep it in your mind, cata means complex to simple and ana means simple to complex. So always keep it in your mind these two terms, then it will be easier to remember. Cata means if it is complex to simple, and bolism word means conversion. So complex to simple conversion is known as catabolism, and anabolism is simple to complex conversion. This bolism word, it has come from the word balein. Bolism has come from the word balein. Balein means conversion or moving to. So catabolism means always when the complex food substances we are getting, conversion of that complex food substance into simpler one, that is called as catabolism. And anabolism means when we are digesting the food material into simpler form, after that when we have utilized that simpler food material for obtaining the energy, after the little good amount of simple food material has to be stored in our body. So again that simple food material will be stored in our body by forming the complex form. So that's why that is commonly known as anabolism. Always keep it in your mind, this catabolism will be a destructive process, because complex food is broken down into simpler form, but anabolism is always a constructive process, because simpler form is converting to the complex form. Second point, catabolism, in case of that, generally you can consider when the complex food is broken down into simpler food, on that time ATP is synthesizing. From ATP is synthesizing during the catabolic process, but in the anabolic process that ATP is broken down. Clear? ATP is broken down, and by that anabolic reaction is happening. Next point, in case of catabolism, always the heat is released. So it is always an exothermic reaction, but anabolic reaction or anabolism, the heat is absorbed. So that's why it is always endothermic reaction. So these basic differences we have to keep it in our mind. 4 to 5 points or 3 to 4 points we have to keep in our mind. Next point is that we are coming, that is definition of biodiversity. Just we are changing the topic, we are moving to another topic, that is what is biodiversity. Biodiversity, if you break the word, you will be getting two terms. One is bio, another one is diversity. Bio word means biological, diversity means variations. So that variations in biological organisms throughout the world, that is commonly known as biodiversity. Keep it in your mind, this term was proposed by the ecologist whose name was W.G. Rosen. So this biodiversity word was proposed by the scientist W.G. Rosen. Clear? Now I am moving for the next thing, that is what are the types of biodiversity. Biodiversity can be of three types. First one, that is ecological diversity. Second one, that is species diversity, and third one, that is genetic diversity. So what is the difference among them? First one, ecological diversity. The meaning is the diversity in various ecosystems throughout the world. If you go in different locations of the world, you can see desert ecosystem, you can see mountain ecosystem, you can see plainland ecosystem, you can see grassland ecosystem, you can see various kinds of aquatic ecosystem. So this specific ecosystem oriented diversity, when you can see, that is known as ecological diversity. Keep it in your mind, after ecological diversity, there is next diversity is coming, that is species diversity. Now you are entering within one ecological area. After that, you can see various kinds of animals and plant species. So the various kinds of animals and plant species, whatever you can see in that specific ecological area, that is commonly known as species diversity. So always keep it in your mind, ecological diversity is the broader one. Under ecological diversity, this species diversity is coming. Okay, ecological diversity. First, throughout the world, how many ecological areas you can see, that is the ecological diversity. Now you are entering within one ecological area. Within that, how many species of animals and plants you can see, that is species diversity. And third, genetic diversity. Now within a single species, suppose within a single ecological area, you can see multiple species. Now you are choosing a single species. You have chosen the species of lion, suppose. So within the species of lion, how many diversities you can see based on their genetic makeup? You have got, suppose, 10 lions. So out of those 10 lions, whatever the diversity, whatever the variations are present in their genetic makeup, that is the genetic diversity. That means when you are moving or you are entering within the species diversity or within single species, then only you can get the genetic diversity. So ecological diversity is the broader aspect, species diversity is the intermediate aspect, and genetic diversity is the smaller aspect. Ecological diversity will be at the top. Under ecological diversity, species diversity. Under species diversity, there should be genetic diversity. Again, you just think in a reverse manner. When multiple genetic diversity will be there, it will be forming species diversity. When multiple species diversity will be getting, you will be getting the ecological diversity. So this is the relation in between these three diversity types. Clear? Moving for the next topic. Need for classification. What is need for classification? Here in this chapter we will be discussing about the mechanism of classification, steps of classification and all those things. First of all, before starting that part, we have to clear that what is the definition of classification. Classification means the process of categorizing the organisms in different levels or different units or different categories. That is known as classification. So during the classification process, first of all, we have to know why we have to do the classification. There are actually 4 points I have written. What is the need or what are the needs of the classification? First, to identify the organisms properly. If we can classify the organism in proper group, in proper category, we can obviously identify that organism very easily in no time. Second, to know their features, obviously their morphological and anatomical features, both features we can know if we will categorize them, if we will classify them, morphological and anatomical. These 2 points please mention. Both of the features we can study, we can know if we will classify them, if we will categorize them. Next, to categorize them. Obviously classification is, the target is only to categorize them into different phylum, different class, different order, so that we can get the easy access, we can get to know about their all of the informations very easily. If we will not categorize, if we will keep all of the organisms at a mass, it will be not easier to get a single animal information. So if you will categorize them, it will be easier to get their information very easily. Going for the last point, that is to study the relationship, study the relationship among organisms. So always keep it in your mind that during the time of classification, we are categorizing the organisms. Another one target of this specific classification process is whatever the organisms we have classified in different groups or different categories. Our another target is to relate them. Relate them means whatever the features are common in between them, whatever the features are uncommon in between them. So those specific study also we can do if we will categorize them. Suppose I am keeping one organism in phylum Arthropoda, another organism I am keeping in phylum Mollusca. Okay, so we can obviously compare them, whatever the common features are present, whatever the uncommon features are there. If we will not categorize them into phylum Arthropoda and phylum Mollusca, we will not get proper information about their features. So this specific point we have to always keep it in your mind, that for relating their features, for study their relationship, common and uncommon features, obviously this specific classification process is necessary. Next, three domain concept. What is three domain concept? First of all, when the classification process has started, first concept which came, that was three domain concept. The scientist Carl Woese, this is the name of the scientist who has proposed this three domain concept. He has subdivided all of the animal and plants and microorganisms into three different domains. First domain, that is archaea. Second domain, that is bacteria. Third domain, that is eukarya. So first domain, that is archaea. What is the meaning? Archaea means actually this is the domain containing various primitive type of bacteria who can survive in extreme environmental condition, in extreme salinity, in extreme temperature, in extreme cold. So those organisms can survive. So those organisms have all placed within the domain that is archaea or archaebacteria. Next, the domain has been created only containing the prokaryotic cell, that is bacteria. Various kind of bacteria containing chlorophyll, without chlorophyll, performing aerobic respiration, not performing aerobic respiration, that means performing anaerobic respiration. So all kind of bacteria is coming within this category. Okay, and the last domain has been created, that is eukarya. Within eukarya, he has placed, that means Carl Woese has placed all kinds of unicellular, multicellular organisms. Unicellular organism like that amoeba, like that paramecium, this kind of organism, euglena, as well as multicellular organism within that various kinds of plants and animals, all he has placed. So first, when the classification process has started, Carl Woese has just proposed the concept of three domain concept, and he has segregated entirely into three different category or three different domain: archaea, bacteria, eukarya. Okay, so up to this portion we will be studying in this video. Just we are recapitulating whatever the points we have studied today. First, we have studied about the definition of the living. Second, we have studied about the life accumulation of various physiological processes to survive any organism in this world. We have studied about the basic features or characteristics of the living: cellular structure, first one; second one, growth and development; third one, reproduction; fourth one, consciousness; and fifth one, metabolism. Under metabolism, there are two types of metabolism. One is catabolism, another one is anabolism. Next, what is the definition of biodiversity? The term proposed by whom? W.G. Rosen. Next, whatever the types of biodiversity we can see, there are three types of biodiversity through the world. First one, the diversity in ecosystems, ecological diversity; the diversity among species present in single ecological area, species diversity; and the genetic diversity, the diversity in genetic makeup within a single species, that is the genetic diversity. Next, we are coming to need for classification. Need for classification is obviously to identify the organisms, to know their morphological and anatomical features, to categorize them properly, as well as to study about their relationship. Okay, and the last point we have studied, that is three domain concept, that is Carl Woese proposed, and according to his concept, there were three domains. Archaea, containing primitive type of bacteria who can survive in extreme environmental conditions; bacteria, aerobic and anaerobic, all kind of bacteria; and eukarya, that is all eukaryotes, unicellular and multicellular. So I think you have understood properly this portion, whatever I have taught you today, and you have enjoyed this video a lot. Thank you.